I want to give the gentleman, Victor, who I was told 2 weeks ago, converted officially. So Victor, please.
Thank you. Shalom Aleichem.
Alechem shalom.
Rabbi Tovia Singer. And I was literally listening to your whole class that day, and it was amazing. I was in the process of my conversion back then. And Baruch Hashem, I finished my process 2 weeks ago on the 14th of Kislev. My name is Yosef Yehuda. I come from Guatemala. I came from the beautiful coast of the Caribbean that belongs to Guatemala. I grew up in a very poor family in a very little island, probably about 12 houses, when education was the worst or nothing. I grew up in a family, in a non-religious family, but they call themselves Christians. Broken and abusive. So I didn't have no school, no high school, no nothing. But at age of 13, something literally started. It's like it was like a bright light hitting my heart and my brain. Then I needed to learn to pray. It was like something that I never knew, nobody tell me about anything like that. And somehow I start talking to a God that I never heard before, or it wasn't never presented to me. It was like a deep connection to this being in the skies. Somehow I remember when I was younger in that age, my dad used to tell us stories about the Bible, the Torah. And he used to tell us the story of Noah and the rain, how rain came in and destroyed everything, and also the story of Moshe taking the Jewish people from Egypt, from slavery. And he was supposed to be Catholic. His mother was very Catholic, but we were not raised religious, point blank. But that story stayed deep in my heart and my mind, and never left until today's day. And I'm just wonder, why did he do that? And I will probably never understand why, but I believe that Hashem always use ways to bring his people back and to give the message to the souls of the Jewish people. And for me, it's an honor. I feel so humble that I belong. I knew in my heart I belonged to the Jewish people before when I started this process, but now I'm part of the tribe, and I am so humble. I'm so pleased. I'm so blessed that Hashem chose me from one of the corners of the earth. And Rabbi Tovia, as well mentioned before, Hashem is literally the prophecy is happening. It's happening to me. It's happening to Raquel, to Tova, to everyone listening. I think we are the testimony of the prophecy.
That's beautiful. I just should mention anecdotally, I don't even know the numbers, but I've been doing this a long time. A very significant number, it's not half, it's a little less than half of the people who go through a conversion or eventually discover that they were Jewish all along. It's not the majority because it's not always so, not everything is accessible, but we're living in a time when there's more information than ever. So it's quite frequent that people discover that they were Jewish all along, which is Hashem calling them back. And I'm very grateful to hear from you. I'm very grateful to you.
Yehuda Yosef.
Yosef Yehuda.
Yosef Yehuda, even better.
Such a connection.
You have two very powerful names. What did you want to say, Yosef Yehuda?
Yeah, at the last days of my, a week before my process, before the mikveh day, Rabbi Singer, my mentor, he asked me, do you choose a name? And I said, yes, I have. And I love the name of Eliyahu Yehoshua. I thought it was very powerful. The meaning was amazing. So a day before my mikveh day, Rabbi Singer presented me, tomorrow this person is going to do this, and his name is going to be blah, 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 blah. But somehow I felt something deep in my heart that name did not belong to me. And before I went to sleep, I said, Hashem, you know me before I was in my mother's womb, and you know how confused I am about the name that I'm choosing, because I think I'm choosing for myself, but I'm not allowing you to choose for me. Will you please choose the name for me? So I went to sleep. The following day in the morning, I did exactly the same thing. I went to LA. I live in Irvine. About 10 a.m. in the morning, somebody from our shul who knows me texts me. The message says, "Hey, Victor, this is so-and-so. I just want you to know that your name should be Joseph." Why? Joseph was a dreamer. Joseph has dreams. And so he started with this message, but I honestly didn't even read the whole message. I was so nervous. I didn't pay attention to the message, but the name Joseph got stuck in my mind. And literally minutes before the mikveh day, the same day, I keep thinking, I don't have a name. I don't have a name, and I cannot have this going like this. And I say, Hashem, please give me the name that I'm supposed to have, the name that you choose for me. And I'm still having in my mind the name Eliyahu somehow kicking my head. And at the moment when I got into the waters of the mikveh, they asked me, what is the name that you choose? Instead of using the name Eliyahu, my tongue was twisted, and I said, Yosef Yehuda. And I was like, my prayer was answered. Hashem, choose my name.
Wow. That's incredible, Yosef Yehuda. That is incredible. Amazing. But do you have something that you want to ask?
So my family, they were not religious. They're not religious. But somehow, not long ago, I spoke to my brother and explained the process that was of what I was going through, Judaism and the love, the connection that I have. And he's not even a religious person. But his message back to me was like, we are Christians. And I said something like, you probably are, but I never believed in such a person. So how do you approach someone with that kind of mentality, even if it's not a religious person?
If your goal is to persuade someone, so using chess as a metaphor, you always want to play the black piece, not the white piece. No one enjoys aggressive people. When I walk into a store and a salesperson gets very aggressive, I want to run out of the store. What I always do when someone tries to convert me, it's Simchas Torah. I mean, I daven for such events. It's a lot of fun. But I always ask a very simple question. I ask, tell me, what's the most compelling reason you think I should believe in your religion, no matter what it is? If someone's an atheist, if someone's a Muslim, give me your best shot. Like, what's the most compelling reason? And the mistake people make is, in my view, if you want to change a person's mind, if you want the person to reconsider, is don't impose what was important to you, but listen carefully. That's why the shows I do are always structured in a question-answer, where I'm answering that person's question, not why I think. So now you have to be familiar with the material, of course. 62 miles southwest of where I am right now is the Gaza Strip. I wasn't trained in using weapons. It would be a mistake for me to go there and fight terrorists. But if you're familiar with the material, so you just ask the person, tell me what's the most compelling reason in your view that I should believe what you believe. You have nothing to worry about. And the person, it's happened to me Friday night. I'll tell you a craziest story. So Friday night I was sitting at the Shabbos table, and there was a Christian at the Shabbos table. I didn't know it. There was a Christian at the Shabbos table, and a whole group of people, and the Christian wanted to persuade me. So I said, please, what's the most compelling reason why you think a Jew should be a Christian? So he said, because the disciples of Jesus, they all willingly died for their religion. And if they were liars, why would they willingly die for what they believe? Liars make bad martyrs. That's what he said. So I asked him a question. I asked him, please tell me a single source anywhere in the Christian Bible that says that there was a Christian disciple that willingly died for what he believes. He said, what are you talking about? Peter willingly died, crucified upside down, and Paul was beheaded in Rome. I said, please show it to me. And he had a New Testament with him. And he started turning pages. And when I saw he was frustrated, I said to him, let me save you a lot of time. It's not in there. It's a Roman Catholic convention from the 3rd century, much later, that Peter was crucified upside down. All these stories are not even in the Christian Bible. And Paul doesn't die in the Christian Bible. He's actually released from prison at the end of the book of Acts. And it blew his mind away. Like, he just thought it must be some verse somewhere. I just would say is the best way to persuade someone is not to be aggressive, to rather ask, tell me, what is your best, most persuasive. Give me your best shot. And ask, like, be a mensch. No one wants to be treated disrespectfully. And then answer with thought, and then you'll be just fine. That's what I'd recommend. Just ask, what's your best shot? That's all. Now, if you're not familiar with them, if you're watching my stuff, then you're familiar with the material. And that's all. That's very easy. Always ask someone, tell me what you think is important to you.
Thank you.